Hello everyone. So we are back with another video with the Dofi going up against a blue yellow ace. I want to see good things from this leader. I actually like all three of the leaders and their shenanigans, but to me, I think Luffy has the strongest one. Sabo second, Ace is last in this equation. But I feel like there was like two ways to go with Ace. Like you could take advantage of the old yellow cards that would make you draw life, or you can keep stacking life if you have found abilities that can essentially let you turn your life back down or anything like that. And I figured, either you have like what feels like a really strong search engine plus strong character effects, because the cost would be to draw the life, right? Or you have an obnoxious, constant like life building engine. So I don't know. There's probably hopes for this leader in the future. So the work schedule got things kind of slowing down in terms of us getting the other decks ready. So just please be patient. Anybody that's waiting on anything, we are gonna try, like, there's still deck edits and test plays and all that stuff. And either you might still get some more Dofi content, and I know it's worth watching because the way the meta is, anything that can just compete, it's kind of worth looking at. I am happy that in terms of the One Piece community, even though any competitive community, you're gonna have people who just are dedicated to playing what the best is. I like seeing those videos where they show you like the top 16, and at least half the top 16 is not the same deck, is not the meta deck, so that's something I like. I think is worth appreciating. But I get it though, because at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, 50% of what's winning is the same deck. Half of top 16 is Sakazuki, or a mix of Sakazuki Moria, and I know we're all ready for a change. And it's kind of funny how it works, but it didn't quite work for Katakuri. It's kind of funny how it works when the top dog gets dethroned. The next person to fear is who's second in line. And I can't remember like what, but there was a point in time everybody was just like, oh, now it's gonna be Katakuri. Katakuri is gonna be the number one deck, just for him to still not be the number one deck. And I'm just like, huh. But I get it. It's annoying. It's more of I think it's a bit more of a hate than what do you call it? Strong deck. Don't get it twisted. But I think it's a bit more of a hate. So everybody's ready and just waiting, and then they're gonna hit you with the I told you, I told you so. Hey, look at 10 drop Big Mom. I've definitely had a few conversations about 10 drop Big Mom. I'm like, I don't think the card's gonna get hit, especially compared to what's out there. And there's people who believe it was gonna get banned yesterday, and it still hasn't. And it still doesn't look like it's going to. Could it? Of course it could. Anything could. Any random card could hit the list. But in terms of what's out there and what's doing what it's doing, it's like, yeah, I can't see this 10 drop Big Mom being the priority right now. Because, oh man, when I saw the graph of this one event literally having like 50% Sakazuki's topping, that made my stomach hurt. Irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, right? Man, I was just like, that's crazy. But then that's to be expected, I think, because the biggest One Piece event also had that situation. So anyway, the big bad wolf is about to be gone in a minute, and then Moria's next for people to hate, and we have to figure that one out and deal with it. Because let me commentate a little bit. We're about to drop a Mihawk. Okay, let's see what he gets in life. We are at 3 life, so that Kikunojo can gain. So it is getting bottom decked. We don't want you gaining any extra life. We do got 1 Don, and we use that for putting pressure. Yeah, so to my knowledge, here's what I was told once upon a time. Japan's culture is that they're more willing to try other decks, especially if it's new. So that's why, like, a lot of times when new cards come out, you see these decks and these leaders win. Like Iceberg, when EBO came out, he won something and then never again. I think it's just that little change in culture, that little difference in culture, I should say, not change, difference in culture. I don't know how well the West does that, because I know, hey, if we want to win, we want to win, you know. And I don't know how often we're willing to really, really try new things when we already know. That's the big difference. When we already know what's still the threat, what's still the problem, because that's the thing. We get everything second. We're not getting it like at the same time. So we can say that, oh, this deck is still the best deck. There's no real point in playing something else like that. That's what I'm alluding to. That Weevil is earning its worth his weight in gold. That was the first thing I was trying to get. Anyway, the thing I like about Weevil, because I think it was maybe either OPO2 or OPO3, we made a Doflamingo deck that was, man, you earned your win, but it was able to compete with the Whitebeard and the Zoros, right? And we did really good against the Zoros and stuff like that. And it used 3-drop Kuma. The one that looks at the top two adds a card to your hand, the 7 Warlord card, and then the second card you can either put it at the top or the bottom of the deck. And what that card essentially did was it helped clear up your row. So there were just times where if you're playing a Mihawk and the this and the that, 7-drop Doflamingo, you're playing these cards, look at Boa. You could just get that Kuma out there. They're still gonna attack it, because even though it's weak, they don't want you to have a body that you can swing with. So usually they still attack it, so it's like a blocker. And then you got to add a card essentially, and either a bottom deck if you need to, a useless card. Essentially, you get to clear up the cluster. So that's one card with your leader ability, one card with Kuma, and essentially whether you leave it on top or put it to the bottom. And then now that little cluster row, instead of what you would normally bottom decking an entire row, now you just you went through it really fast. You got to go through it really fast. So that was the value of Kuma back then. And he really helped make the deck playable. But in that meta, you really had to think. I ain't gonna lie, you had to think in that meta. To try to get that win with the Dofi. Couldn't afford misplays. Now you got Weevil, so Weevil makes me think of that time where we had to play like that using the Kuma. So essentially, we could just use the Weevil to help clear up something instead of having a bottom deck a lot of cards. It's like, okay, put the Weevil here, put the card that we won't be able to summon, or that would whiff with Dofi ability here, and then put the card that we will draw for draw phase here, and then now we can kind of go back to our regular scheduled program. So that's the perks that Weevil provides, and it's for me, it's just a much better card than Kuma. But I have seen lists that still decided to use Kuma, by the way. Recent ones, relatively recent. Okay, now we just start bottom decking stuff. Sorry about that, buddy. That card's excuse me. That card's obnoxious. Yeah, that card is definitely obnoxious. Oh, he gets another one. It is what it is. But, he did it right back to us. It's one of those taste of your own medicine situations. But yeah, that card really helps in the yellow matchup, because after taking those swings and then getting those cards on the board, especially if it's a card that you had to discard in order to summon it with the trigger ability, oh man, then you just bottom deck it. You get all these free swings, no regrets, and then you just bottom deck. So very strong. Right now, putting would actually probably help him than hurt him. So that's just a counter power. That's all that is right there. I can't remember what the top cards are, but we have there's Espada for defense and to see top 3 at least. And we have Weevil to draw us a card. A Sanji play would be powerful, but we have to have it set up. Okay, so thinking is happening. Checking the trash. Checking our probabilities. Yeah, definitely swing on that thing. That's what I'll do. I guess it's more of a debate of getting it off the field kind of guaranteed or getting him to want to chuck something. Oh, or just go for game. Yes, that is on the table. That is definitely on the table. You know what's crazy though? We've actually lost games where we swung crazy big and all their cards were counter. I think it happened to us like 2 times. Like, even look at that. All that counter power. All that counter power. But yeah, he was better off taking the Mihawk attack. Granted, I don't think mathematically he probably doesn't have it. But what I'm saying is taking the Mihawk attack, getting that, and having us Don stack our leader and then swing and then he just counter out the whole thing. I didn't do the math on his end. Oh, interesting. Okay. Playing it safe? Question mark? Well, I mean, this guarantees lethal. Like, there's literally nothing he could do, so better safe than sorry, maybe? Because the thing is, even if he adds a life, he has to bring it face down in order to keep it. And we definitely got too many swings, so. Oh, right. Okay. If we swung hard enough, and then if it was like a blocker trigger, okay, I kind of see where the logic is. So where you can safely guarantee the game by just doing this and going for next turn, if we would have had, hit a blocker trigger or something. But that's still not enough. I get it. That's still not enough. Unless he somehow had an ace play, rush, and then just beat us up. And our counter power, because we don't have no active Don, would have been 3k counter power. So yeah, that could have, man, that's creepy how that could have been a bad outcome, right? That's creepy, but hey. That would have been depression. Now that I think about it, like, what? And that should be GG. There you go. Okay. As always, thank you for watching. Be kind and subscribe.